And welcome back to the Faye Banner Review, where we talk about the same units that released barely a month ago, except now they're dressed in a funny costume. Today, we have a brand new New Year's banner featuring some of the Book 8 OCs as well as some of the same Sacred Stones characters that always get alts. Their greed is hurting the economy, and as per tradition, I will be using this coveted line graph that may or may not be a line graph at the end of the day to rank the brand new New Year's banner. Today's ranking will be based on how many Divine Vein green tiles are placed in the trailer, and if you place your Divine Veiny hand on that subscribe button, then you can make every day a holiday on YouTube.com. That was cringe even for me. First up, we have Tana, and she's a sword flyer that flies with a sword. Yeah, not much to really say when I haven't looked at her kit. So I'm gonna look at her kit. Let's see. Tana has Snaking Sword, which is a slaying omni-guidance weapon with stats, true stats, even more true stats, and allows any ally to teleport within 2 spaces of her when she enters combat or uses an assist. She also has a PRF B slot in Heavenly Wings, which grants Canto Distance that debuffs a bunch of stats, grants Null Follow-Up, Breath, and -1 special cooldown before her first attack. Honestly, that's a really solid weapon and PRF skill for a definitely 5-star locked, most certainly not demote unit with high rarity. You see, the statement I just made is actually a contradiction. I'm really confused as to why Tana is a demote because last time I checked, the demote looked like this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. This unit is actually really good and has 2 brand new PRFs. Of course, I can't really complain when a lot of our demotes don't tend to get a PRF, let alone 2 of them, but it feels like a really random thing to do. That said, it's nice seeing us free-to-play players who spend $0 and 0 cents on the Fire Emblem Heroes game having something worthwhile to spend for. Ignoring the fact that they also dropped 2 anti-warping units and skills on this banner and Neath Hoger and Hathren, but that's spoilers, forget I said that. But yeah, otherwise, that's Tana for the most part. I say that as if I even talked about the unit in any capacity. If you could believe it, this unit is probably better than the majority of the units released in Book 8, which is quite something. If you couldn't believe it though, then you should probably try acting more gullible. Next, there's Hesfelger, and she's Hesfelger but green. And new. New Year's. Please clap. She's a beast flyer that flyers around and then, yeah, that's what beast flyers do in this game for sure. Let's see. Hesfelger has New Year Talon, which has slaying, stats, true stats, even more true stats, special jumps, extra movement, and inflicts speed and defense penalties as well as exposure and sabotage during the start of the player and enemy phase. Is it bad that I don't feel phased about these things anymore? I'm sure it's a fine enough weapon, but what exactly is new about it? Besides the new part? Okay, so after looking at the weapon, I realize I don't actually know what's different about it, so you guys should tell me in the comments. Use hashtag Z can't read a paragraph of text at 2 in the morning because Phoenix Master 1 didn't summarize it for him so that I can find your comment. Maybe that's too long of a hashtag. She also has her PRF skill Divine Talon, which had a bunch of stuff that I didn't feel like repeating again, but the main thing that it had was, actually, I kind of have to reread it because I forgot what it did. Okay, so after looking at the C slot, I realized it granted extra movement and it cleansed penalties and did other stuff, but I think those were the 2 big things of the skill. Maybe some other things too, but I can't say I care all too much, TBH. 2BH. To be quite H. And you might be thinking to yourself, why do you seem so uninterested in this copy-pasted unit that released only 2 months ago? The answer? Tune in next time. Otherwise, not much else to say about a unit that's basically copy-pasted from 2 months ago. Hesfelger also comes with a brand new B slot in Bestial Assault, which grants Canto after combat, true damage, and reduces damage reduction by 50%. This is a bad skill. Okay, it's not bad per se, but it's also a beast skill, and B stands for beast and bad. Actually, B can stand for a lot of stuff like and, also, and. But you might be thinking to yourself, well, it still has a good amount of effects in it. Why shouldn't I run it? Here, let me pose you, the audience, the people watching this video, The people who are subscribed or will soon subscribe, why would I use that when I could use anything else, including itemized list of skills that I don't feel like listing or reciting? The answer? Tune in next time. And then there's Neath Hoger, and she's Neath Hoger but blue. And new. New Year's. Please clap this time. She's a beast armor that armors around and, yeah, that's what beast armors do in this game for sure. Let's see. Neath Hoger comes with New Year Fang, which has slaying, stats put on the foe, true stats, even more true stats, removes 25% of the foe's maximum HP at the start of combat, damage reduction shredding, twin save, distant counter, and grants hexblade as well as defense and res bonuses at the start of the turn to herself and allies. Yeah, okay. Also, it's still in 1-point font, which is so ha ha ha, tee-hee tee-hee. Actually, wait just a second. Wait just another second. I don't know why I'm having you wait, actually. I think Faye just set a new record, folks. They've released power crap versions of previously existing units before, usually within the span of a year or two of the original unit's release. But this is the first time where Faye released a power crept version of a unit that released only a single month ago. Congratulations to Fire Emblem heroes for achieving what was once deemed not only impossible, but also completely stupid and idiotic. I don't know if I should laugh or cry about it if I'm being honest. Is both an option. She also has her PRF skill in Divine Toxin, which had a bunch of stuff that I don't feel like repeating again, but the main thing was that it applied dosage, which negates Essence Drain. Okay, so you know how last month I said Nurgle would still be fine? So, I'm sorry to say Nurgle, but you no longer function. In Anima Season only, but you could still work in Light Season, in Dark Season, in Astra Season, in Arena Modes, in Summoner Duels, and Summoner Duels S, and Summoner Duels R, assuming she isn't brought, which is still basically every single game mode, so congrats, this is essentially not that big of a nerf. Not gonna lie. Just kidding, I lied. Yeah, no, this dude is basically dead now. It's nice seeing that he lasted as long as he did because most units these days don't make it through their first rerun, which is like 3 months. Although losing out on a bonus negator or stealer does kind of suck when there aren't really many options left now. There's always Loki, but she's a dark mythic, and there's Tina, but that would mean using Tina. Nope, never mind. She also doesn't work against her. Teehee. Otherwise, not much else to say about a unit that's basically copy-pasted from a month ago. Neath Hoger also comes with a brand new C slot in Higher Ground, which is an anti-warping C slot for dragons and beasts that also functions as a far save skill. Okay, so you know how last month I said Gatekeeper and Myrrh were still fine? Okay, it's not that, but the skill is basically worthless. And you might be wondering why that's the case. It has anti-warping and additional support to boot, so what's the problem? The problem, my dear viewers, is that it's Dragon and Beast locked, which basically means it's most likely going to be dead on arrival, similar to that of Pulsemog, which was also a really good skill that died by its restrictions. So, good job, Valentine's Myrrh and Gatekeeper. You two get to live another day somehow. I don't know how, but you guys are still managing. I don't know why. Not gonna lie. Just kidding. For what it's worth, both are still usable, but they're just outdated at this point thanks to this and Barricade. My guess is that Aya's probably messed up with the Celica ring, which is probably why they're printing these skills. Having unlimited access to 5-space warping for any melee and ranged unit is stupidly absurd, but I'm glad they learned their lesson at least by releasing Emblem Lyn, who functions exactly like Celica, except she doesn't need to move and allows other ranged units to do the same thing as her. And lastly, there's Haythrun and Ratatoskr, but really just Haythrun because she's the lead here. Be gone with you, Rat. She's actually different compared to her original version in that she's a colorless tome with actual combat utility instead of a green beast that exists solely to make you hate playing the game. Definitely step up this time around. Let's see. Haythrun comes with New Year Treats, which is a slaying null guard tome that has stats, true stats, halves all damage reduction, and grants visible stats, charge, and special cooldown to any ally that uses an assist on her. She also has an upgraded C slot in Nectar's Magic, which grants Divine Nectar to herself and allies, stats, and special jumps with AoEs and during her first attack in combat, on top of having a dual button that grants even more pulses to herself and allies, and applies anti-warping terrain within 3 rows and 3 columns. Yeah, that sure is Hythrun again, but can actually fight and stuff. Yep, sure can. She does have the funny nectar thing and then something else after. Yep, sure does. Honestly, I'm too tired to think these days. If only there was a thing I could do in Fire Emblem Heroes that required no thinking whatsoever. Introducing the team combination of Neath Hoger and Hythrun. These two units can be ran together and always have Divine Nectar up at all times, and up to 2 units can do this because there are 2 versions of both of these characters now. Wait, what? Release me! The idea of having 2 teams that can be made up of Hythrun and Neath Hoger pains me to my very core. Otherwise, not much else to say about a unit that's basically copy-pasted from 6 months ago and then changed around to be something a bit more unique. Moral of the story for all of you lits out there, it won't ever get worse than this. Just kidding. There's also the freebie stuff that we tend to get each banner in the form of New Year's Innis and a couple sacred seals. New Year's Innis joins Tana on the whole sibling dynamic of the banner, and both come adorned with their own snake-like weaponry. Tana in the form of her exclusive sword, Snaking Sword, and Innis with his weapon, Snaking Bow. Plus, yeah, it's an inheritable. Did you think it was going to be a PRF? Teehee, teehee. That's really funny. You won comment of the day with that one, good sir. Here's a gold serpent for your trouble, kind Hather. The bow is nice at least. It has stats, true damage, and nullifies damage reduction on special procs, which is pretty solid overall. I think the only time there's been a similar enough bow was in the form of Bow of Frelia, which was also found on the other Grail Innis. God damn it. We also got the Attack Res Finish Seal, which is pretty good for units that like attack and res, such as myself, as well as the Assault Troop Seal, which is pretty good for units that like wasting their Sacred Seal slot, such as myself. And this also has null follow-up at 4-star rarity, which is cool, and that's, I guess, really it. Yeah, that's all there is for the free stuff, I think. There's literally nothing left. Go away. And now that we've gone over the brand new New Year units, I think it's time we rank the banner on the line graph that may or may not be a line graph at the end of the day. And would you look at that? The brand new New Year's banner has earned a 3 out of 10 on the line graph. What a terrible score coming off the last 3 banners we recently had. But I guess it can't be helped when, yeah, it can't be helped. Maybe next time, New Year's fans. And you may be wondering to yourself, should I start the new year by gambling away orbs and potentially some of my savings? And boy, howdy diddly dingly doopity dee, do I have an answer for you, ooh. Not yet. Every unit on this banner is really strong overall. You have a new Neath Hoger who's blue and provides some extra support and basically functions similarly to our already broken version. Hythrun is also really strong by virtue of Divine Nectar, and Tana is a Demo with massive warping capabilities. I don't have anything to say about Hesfelger. However, we should be getting news on a desert banner a bit after the banner debuts, so you should probably wait to see what that has first. Either that or go for Lynn, because just like a lot of the recent units released in the game, she makes me want...
Give presents to children.
Have yourself some happy holidays.